you can find nerd nodes. But no, skooma is a
All right, hey,
is
wait,
a liquid.
we're live. Hi everyone. We're talking about skooma.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, Callum and I are. We're talking about different video game drugs.
Yeah, and what do we think about them?
Yeah, I think no, skooma is not a. I was just telling him that like skooma is not a gas or anything like that. It's a liquid. You drink it.
Oh, I've seen.
I don't think
hang on, no, but like skooma dens in the alcohol series, in the Elder Scrolls series, often have like a incense kind of thing. So maybe you can burn skooma as incense.
No, I don't think so, right? Because like if you burn alcohol, it doesn't make the smoke alcoholic, does it?
No, true, but like also it's a magical fantasy drug. Should we rename Madeline?
I like Madeline's a nice name.
All right. But yeah, this is. Do we get to pick anyone else? It's weird that they would let you rename her if she's the only character.
Well, I think in Celeste you're supposed to identify with the character. Okay, I'm on the Elder Scrolls wiki, and it says here that you drink it in liquid form, but you can smoke skooma through a pipe.
That doesn't. So, well, okay, first of all, just breathe. Why are you so nervous? Because of all the skooma, I guess. But yeah, that doesn't make sense at all. That drug operates on wacko, like, fiction rules. Anyway, welcome to Celeste. Oh god. Welcome to Celeste, everybody. Oh no.
Yeah, Callum, why don't you tell the viewers at home why we picked Celeste?
Because I had it on my... Well, we picked Celeste, Emilio, because I offered you, like, 4 other games, and you were like, Celeste seems fun. That's why we picked it.
Well, yeah, my reasoning... my reasoning is that we haven't really showcased a platformer game, and Celeste is purely platforming, right? There's no combat or anything like that. It's purely a game about jumping on things and jumping around things.
As far as I know. Oh.
So Callum and I are opposite in this regard, because I don't like playing platformers. Like, if a game is purely a platformer game, I don't actually want to play it. I don't mind occasional platforming in video games. Like, I think it can be fine to have, like my example is Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania. Yeah, platforming is a huge part of it. But a lot of the more difficult platforming is purely optional. You don't have to do some of that stuff if you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that I think is good, because that allows the user to feel like, hey, this platforming actually is really difficult. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, you're not going to experience all of the content of the game, but that's like the trade-off, right? I'm perfectly happy with that trade-off existing.
Can I just real quick say that this is the most anime shit I've ever seen? Because, like, this young lady has just said, like, hey, you might want to tell people that, like, your driveway is dangerous because a ridge fell and I almost died. And this old woman just straight up laughed in her face and was like, you are fucked for the mountain. Like, look at that.
Well,
she's laughing so hard it's materializing.
The thing is, Callum, right? It's typical anime stuff to actually have to deal with, nobody believes in you, you've got to believe in the heart of the cards, you got to face obstacles. What I want to know is how the platform's just floating in like the middle of the air. That's the question I want to know.
But it's not floating in the middle of the air. Look, well, okay, this one is. I do think that like you can think too much about this stuff. Oh god.
Well, I mean, yeah, and like, okay, so in some sense, my suspension of disbelief is kind of like, I can believe that Dr. Robotnik would just have random non-OSHA compliant platforms just like floating around his factory or whatever, Like, I've played a lot of Sonic, especially Sonic 2, and I'm like, oh yeah, Dr. Robotnik, I would believe that he would build an airship with just like lava pits on the inside, so
okay,
that's
sorry, I don't know if you saw that. I just like went Super Saiyan Blue and like teleported. Like, look at this. Ka-chow. Ka-choo. that's nutty. Why do I have this magic?
Well, if you didn't have this magic, then you wouldn't be able to climb the mountain. So obviously maybe it's the strawberries.
Oh, I just got a strawberry. Should I be going this way? Can I drop down?
I don't know, Callum. I've never played this game before. I am familiar with it. I know of it. I know that a lot of people really like Celeste, and that the speedrunning community for Celeste is pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't know that much about it. I'm like I said, I'm not much of a platformer guy. But you said that you are more of a platformer guy, and you don't like it when games introduce platforming to them.
Okay, so the thing is, we were talking about, first of all, chat, if chat is there, please let me know if the volume is too loud, because I turned it down, but, we'll see. I don't love it when games just have platforming as, like, a side thing, because it often ends up feeling bad to do. It's like you have to learn a whole different skill set that you weren't taught. Man, God,
yeah,
fuck.
The classic example that I would give is Half-Life 1's, like the Zen level in Half-Life 1. Lots of platforming, lots of like sudden death that you can just fall into. It really kills a lot of the pacing of that game. And I say this as like a huge Half-Life fan. I think that, Zen really needed to be reworked. I don't mind a lot of the platforming inside of Black Mesa because generally, they're like, oh, we have a physics engine now, and we can, well, not a physics engine, but we're platforming in 3D space, and isn't it kooky that there are no rails, all of that stuff inside Black Mesa? But yeah, it's like as long as the game primes you to understand that, hey, listen, you might have to jump over a narrow platform every now and then, and that's not the majority of the gameplay, I think that's fine.
So, I'm currently trying to get this strawberry, but it will disappear if I use my dash in any way. And I think that... You see, okay, I like it when games do this. So this game is very clearly meant to be just platforming. And it is already, like, showing me environmental things I can do, like using the momentum of that platform. It's showing me things like, oh god. It's showing me how bad I am. It's also, but it's like, it's instituting rules based on, like, the limited sort of world it's already built. Based on the limited skill set that I have, it's already, like, shaking things up. And I think that's the joy of platforming.
Yeah, no, I would, the core principle of platforming is that trial and error is fun, right? Like, you want to have the freedom in a platforming game to try things, and when they fail, to continue to try them, right? Because I like the sales pitch of a platformer is that you will find traversing the space fun, that you'll hit a rhythm when you're wall running or jumping or dashing or whatever, and that will feel intuitively fun. Yeah. Right? But in a way that...
That's why I don't like it when games introduce platforming as a mechanic, because there's already so much going on in a game that having platforming, which is ostensibly a very simple thing that requires, trial and error, it requires sort of a game to be built around it, just half-heartedly putting it in your game ends up with a bad experience on both ends. It takes away from the gameplay that you already have, and gives you something that's not as good and will never be as good, but like adds pseudo variety. Man, I'm bad at this.
Yeah, I hear you. I think one thing that I don't like is platforming in first person. I find platforming in first person to be incredibly frustrating. And it's a testament, I think, to the design of Dishonored that game is a game where platforming is essentially part of the experience, but it didn't feel bad to me. But platforming first person very difficult.
There's also a difference between like platforming and parkour.
Yeah. Dishonored is maybe more of a parkour game than a
I would say that Assassin's Creed is more of a free running parkour game, rather than a platformer. Now,
No,
how
for sure.
the
I think
heck?
it's because the space is designed with you moving around it in mind. I also think that part of why a lot of platforming does get added is sort of the too many cooks sort of approach to video game design. Ubisoft is very guilty of this with a lot of their games, where they clearly delineate things around a map that are going to be, here's going to be the stealth area, here's going to be the platforming area, you know? And they do it not because it serves some greater purpose, but because they want to add to the runtime of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's because you can tell when I believe this, you know, full-heartedly, is that a gamer can tell when a section of the gameplay was not added deliberately, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost it's kind of weird, you know, but it's true. I think every gamer, no matter your skill level, no matter your experience, when you're playing something, you can tell when a part of that game was not added it was not part of the design scope, right?
Yeah, because it's, you know the saying, like, you teach people how you want to be treated?
Yeah.
Games teach you how they want to be played.
Oh, we have 4 viewers.
Oh shit! Welcome everybody.
And
oh, no.
a new person.
Oh no!
Called Clutter Arranger says, "Hey, is this actually your first time with Celeste?"
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, God. Can't you tell?
Yeah, I mean, hello, Clutter Arranger. This is Callum's first time playing Celeste. This is my first time engaging with Celeste. I don't play a lot of platformers.
Ooh, there we go. Got it.
Obviously, you know, judging by Callum's super riveting gameplay, he's very good at this.
No, I'm currently on the edge of my seat. Ooh, God. Oh, that was so lucky. I shouldn't have lived through that.
Well, Clutter Ranger is paying you a lot of compliments. They say the speed you are learning is still impressive. Well, thank you.
That's very sweet.
Callum, I think, is a pretty good gamer by my estimation. So I'm also kind of impressed.
Well, just keep in mind, we've said, I've played a lot of platformers. There was a long time where platformers were basically one of the few games I actually learned. Like, back in the day when we had Flash games, platformers were the only ones that I played. Because they're so easy to get into.
Yeah, is it because, like, they were easy to make, and therefore there were lots of them that were available for free, and you could just play them?
I think it's just like... So, okay, so you know how my favorite kind of fantasy character is like a bumbling thief?
Yeah.
Because I love characters that can't brute force their way through situations and have to get creative. Like, there's no other option. That's one of my favorite, like, things in fantasy, right?
Yeah.
The reason I love platformers is because it's a type of adventure where generally this character can't fight. They have to just, through skill and dexterity and everything, get through a scenario by essentially avoiding trouble. And I think that was always sort of very interesting to me, because the only other kind of game that I rarely played very much back in the day was fighting games. And it was a very different experience to be like, oh, there's no... Beyond learning what your character can do, there's kind of no trick to fighting games other than, like, measuring the situation. Like, fighting games on the box are pretty simple. You just have to do your combos and figure out what your opponent is doing, and then you'll win most of the time if you can, like, read your opponent and you know what your character can do. All right, so maybe I need to change where I jump.
That's interesting.
But
I mean, we have a very different experience because the first games I really got into were strategy games.
You know, I'm not surprised.
I mean, the thing is, in the same way that, like, it's easy to make a platforming game, I would argue that it's actually very easy to make a lot of strategy games. And a lot of the games that I played were turn-based strategy, right? Because I was already playing chess in high school and all of that stuff. So I would play a lot of turn-based strategy games because they're easy to make. Yeah, I think for that reason, I tend to think about strategy games as like the one of my favorite genres, but they're not the genre I play the most. That would be point-and-click adventure games. I think I have 4 times as many point-and-click adventure games than I do every other type of game that's on my computer.
I think the difference is that for a while I didn't.
Yeah, I have. Just looking at my Steam library for a second, I have 100. Callum.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. What's up?
Callum.
Hello. Oh, fun. Hang on, everybody. Let me go. Make sure. Well, the stream looks fine. At least on my end. Emilio might have just sort of like. That's the thing. Is
Hello.
Hello. Are you back?
I'm back. I'm back. Yes.
Yeah, folks. Emilio and I live in South Africa, so our internet is made by smashing bits of paper mache together until sparks happen.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Callum, do you want to guess how many? I was looking at my Steam library, so guess how many strategy games I have.
47.
44. That's pretty close. And
oh my God.
And well, actually, no. It's divided into real time and turn based. So how many real time games do I have, and how many turn based games do I have?
I would say that you're more of a real-time guy, so you're gonna have 23 real-time and 20 turn-based.
I have 44 real-time strategy games and 40 turn-based games.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I have 5 games that are listed as survival games or immersive sims. And I have 58 games that are listed as action and shooter games. But do you want to know how many point-and-click adventure games I have?
103.
110.
Oh my God. I'm a Connie guessing how many jelly beans you have in your proverbial jar. Whoa! Speedrun strat. I skipped this level by dying in the right place. Nice.
Yeah, needless to say, I have a lot of those types of games. Why? I couldn't rightly tell you, but you know, that's just part of the Emilio experience. Let me say that.
Well, I know you very much like. Well, that's the thing that I was sort of bringing up earlier, is that back in the day, I didn't think of games as something that had like a story. Really, I mostly played games to play games. Fighting games I followed the story of because you got the story at the end of every fight.
Yeah, you get a cutscene.
But the stories were always kind of separate, so it didn't like you didn't have to worry about the story while you were playing. But I know that you're very into narrative experiences. God, that was beyond close. I was on the spikes. Okay, but yeah.
High tension gameplay.
Indeed. This little girl's getting to the top of this mountain if I have to die for it. But yeah, you're very much more a narrative guy than I think I was when I was younger. So it makes sense to me that you'd go for point-and-click adventure games. Also,
because they're all narrative.
Yeah, but also take into account like what platforms we played on, because I was very much a console gamer.
Console, yeah, and I was a PC gamer.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting because I've always felt. You're right. I absolutely do love narrative as a video game element, right? Like, I don't like playing games that don't have stories because, you know, otherwise I feel like I'm wasting my time. Not always. I mean, there are some games that I've played that don't necessarily have stories, but still, you know, I want a story, even if it's like a meta story.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've always felt like strategy games are a good vehicle for storytelling. And that is a minority opinion. A lot of people don't care about strategy game stories at all, right? Because, a lot of people want to play strategy games so they can beat other people in strategy games. And when I was growing up, that was like a huge thing, because I would play strategy games and play the campaigns, and I would never play multiplayer. And everybody around me that was playing strategy games, they only wanted to play multiplayer. I'm like, I don't want to play with you guys. I find this whole experience to be very stressful. I don't want to do it. And so, it was interesting because, I think ultimately the story did matter. It wasn't just purely it wasn't purely a thing, a side thing. So Clutter Arranger asks, how many games do I have in total? Does Steam give me a list?
It should.
No. Okay.
I have something like 200 games.
I have all my games are categorized in separate tabs, so let me just quickly calculate how many I've got.
Oh shit. Emilio, the story.
Oh, the story.
Celeste Mountain. This memorial dedicated to those who perished on the climb. Shit, am I not even on the mountain yet? Also, my character just sneezed. Is this like a Bastion situation, do you think? That like a calamity happened or whatever?
The world is kind of looking post-apocalyptic. I have 317 games.
Holy crap, Emilio.
In my Steam library.
Holy kazizzles, Emilio. I have... How did you find out?
I just went to the library and I just added up all the games.
Oh, okay. Problem is, I keep multiple games in like multiple tabs. So I don't know...
Oh, I don't do that. Every game is only allowed one category.
Well, some games transcend category.
Well, too bad.
I've just noticed I have a tab that's called Demo, and I have a tab called Demos.
You viewers at home, you are getting a very good illustration of like the differences between Callum and I, because I have one tab which is called Shooters and Action Games, and in this I have all the Batman Arkham games and also Doom and also like Republic Commando and all kinds of other I want to categorize things even if they're not very accurate. I just find it.
There surely has to be a way to like find out. Oh yeah, there is. There's a really easy way. I have 323.
Whoa.
If you go to the top and it says games and you click the down arrow, it just tells you how many games you have. Yeah, I have...
Nice.
How many do you have?
317.
Oh, we're very close to each other. In more ways than one.
Yeah, it's... I think it's because... How long have you had Steam?
I've had Steam at least since I was in high school. I think when I got my first computer, my first laptop, I got Steam.
So I have had Steam more or less the same, like high school, sort of, I would say like late high school. But the thing is, a lot of these games I only started buying once I got a job. Because previously I wouldn't be able, just be able to get games because I would ask my parents for birthday stuff, for wargaming stuff.
Oof.
And
Emilio, did you see that? So out of 20 strawberries, I collected
you only got
4, and I died 67 times.
Did you know, Callum, there are people who can do this game without dying?
No, I imagine there are. But did you know that this is the very first time I've ever played it?
Well,
and I beat that level in 19 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. In the worlds of Clutter Arranger, the speed you're learning is still impressive, right? And you finished the first chapters. Thank you, Clutter Arranger, for your
we're gonna
kind words.
See how far I can go, because we're probably not going to end up playing this game again.
We we can play more of it if you want. I don't mind.
Let's see how it goes, because we tend to showcase games on Thursday. Monday is where we do the long-running series. Okay, so my fire turned green, and now the stars are crashing.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that, Callum. We have played through series on the Thursday spot. When I have a game for us to play, usually a horror game.
Yeah,
that's when we.
Exclusively when you have a game. Oh, and words are doing things. Cool. I think I'm in the Matrix.
Well, yeah. I mean, so
this game is pretty.
Celeste is a very well-regarded game, but I don't think it's like the Dark Souls of platformers, isn't it? It doesn't.
What does that even mean? The Dark Souls of X has lost all meaning as a term. It is pointless now.
Well, I'm
it's
just
the
saying
Dark
that,
Souls of platformers.
You
know what the Dark Souls of platformers are? Is what's that awful Mario mod where you're tiny and everything hates you?
What?
Have you never played that mod where that Mario ROM hack where everything is sped up 300 times?
No, I'm not much of a console gamer.
It wasn't a console, it was a ROM hack.
Well, I don't think I've played many Mario games.
Oh.
I've played some, but not really that many.
Well, it is rough, my guy. Everything is 300 times faster, and you get 1 life.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's crazy. I played it, I think, once. And I got past the first level 1 time, and I was like, I'm done, actually.
Well, there are some people who are very masochistic, I would say.
Yeah, but that's the Dark Souls of platforming. That and N+, which was a Flash game, for those of you in the know.
Well, the reason why I suggested it was the Dark Souls of platformers is because of the idea that, it's there's this big mysterious world and the lore is not exactly given to you. You're sort of getting it via implication.
Yeah, but I don't... Okay, so the reason I fight back against things like that is because I feel like it devalues that as a concept. It associates it purely with one thing. It's like when there's a new show or story or whatever that has elemental magic and people are like, oh, this is like an Avatar clone. It's like, no, because the concept of using elemental magic is something that happened way before Avatar did. But it's the popular thing, so people associate it with that now. And everyone's like, oh, this is just a ripoff of this. And it's like, no, you're allowed to use these concepts for different things. And I think it limits us creatively if we keep comparing things to other things that are similar.
Yeah. Okay, I'll accept that logic. I'll pick up what you're putting down. I think this has happened because of obviously the popularity of Dark Souls, right?
Yeah.
It's a fast but not accurate shorthand.
Don't you know the golden joysticks awarded Dark Souls the best game of all time?
What?
Yeah, a few years ago. You and I talked about that.
Wait, no, you're right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
it's the worst thing ever.
I've taken some meds today because I've got the sniffles.
Oh. No
what?
wonder we were talking about video game drugs. You were taking real ones. Oh shit. Okay, but I know what to do now. You go up and then climb and then jump and then get the crystal and then die. And then you jump and then you climb and you get the crystal and you go across and you die. It's important that you die a few times so that you can lure the level into a false sense of security.
Clutter Arranger has a very interesting point. They say, I think the main selling point of Celeste's gameplay is that it scales really well in difficulty as you go. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think...
Well, I don't want to rip my hair out yet, so we'll see.
Okay, so Clutter Arranger, what do you mean by that statement? Do you mean that as the game goes on, it always feels like it's consistently difficult? Because you have more tools, but the challenges become more complicated? Or is there some kind of learning, a learning curve that you've got to do that is, sort of always there?
Oh, or does it like the levels sort of get designed around the abilities in such a way that they always feel fresh? God, fuck you. I hate spikes so much. This is bringing back Hollow Knight trauma with the White Castle.
The White Palace. The White Palace. It's
the
called
White
the White
Palace.
Palace.
I thought you were about to say the White Callum, and it's like, my guy, that's a nothing statement. Oh, titty sprinkles. The name of my. I almost said Hello Pony. That's not. That's what I've done there is a portmanteau. Is I've mixed I've mixed two things that no one wanted to hear about.
I thought those were called spoonerisms. No, that's when you swap two things in the sentence.
Which is wild, because that's not at all what spoons do.
Well, it's named after a guy named Reverend Spooner.
Oh. Oh no, it's Shadow Me. It's Nega Celeste. Or Nega Madeline, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the game is called Celeste, but...
Well, we're on Mount Celeste. Whoa!
It's
oh, holy shit, that rules! Okay, wait. Okay, so I can dash through these now. That's awesome! But wait, did I just unleash, like, my evil onto the world? Did I just unleash a demon? Is that the story of this game? That I found a magical mirror, and there's a demon now, and I have to go and save everyone from it? Because that's sick as hell.
This reminds me of a part in the first Prince of Persia where you actually have to do that exact same plot line. I feel, yeah, where there's a magical mirror and an evil version of you.
I played a bit of the first Prince of Persia, but I never finished it.
I have actually finished the original Prince of Persia, but I did so with a guide, so...
I own the original Prince of Persia. I was actually planning on, like, maybe suggesting it for streams, but I also kind of wanted to play it on my own, because it felt like a game I should like.
I will say this.
Yeah?
I think Jordan Mechner is an artist in a lot of ways, and I think that he really had a lot of clever ideas about, at the time, how to make video games more like art, right? The rotoscoping, all of that stuff, the attention to detail to certain things at that time, right? It seems primitive to us now, but back then, video games just weren't really that involved in things like storytelling and, that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that I think the first Prince of Persia still holds up fairly well. And yeah, I don't think it's a game that I would play without a guide, because it can be frustrating. It's from that era of game design when, if you know what you're doing, you can beat the game in like 30 minutes, but if you don't know what you're doing, then
it'll take you 30 hours.
30, yeah, potentially you could be lost forever playing Prince of Persia.
Yeah, it's a real, I was about to say Zune, and then I was about to say Zork, and none of those things. What was that, with the Jumanji ripoff?
Jumanji ripoff?
Yeah, don't you remember that Jumanji ripoff? The one in space?
No?
It's something with a Z. Everyone in the chat, if you remember it, like it was about a board game that takes place in space where you get trapped in the board game. It was Jumanji, but like in space, and there were two kids, and I think they were stepbrothers, and the one hated the other one, and they had to like sacrifice themselves or something. It was something with a Z. It wasn't Zork, because that's the
space adventure.
What?
Zathura, a space adventure.
Yes, Zathura. It was a Zathura. I don't know why I didn't just say Jumanji, the one that literally everyone knows. But yeah, it's a Zathura situation, but with Prince of Persia.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Oh, by the way, Clutter Ranger says, yes, the levels require you to keep figuring out stuff about the core platforming mechanics. If you play this part again, after finishing the game, for example, it will feel like a different level because of the skills you acquired. They also say that scene is a direct reference to the Prince of Persia scene, I think. Yeah, it feels like it's kind of a norm. It's one of the tropes of platformers where you got to find an evil version of yourself. And
says the guy who never plays platformers. Oh, you know, let me get into some tropes of this genre I don't play.
Listen, I don't watch musicals either, but I can talk about them. You know,
you can talk. You can not. I love musicals. You keep your filthy mouth away from musicals.
Did you see Wicked?
No, but I really want to. I've heard from friends that it's super good.
I've heard the same, that it's pretty good. I certainly think that casting Jeff Goldblum is a interesting choice.
Why, is he not good at singing?
I wouldn't say he's a particularly good singer.
Okay, well that just opened up a new avenue. Okay, not the direction I was pointing you in. I keep wanting to call her Celeste, but that's not her name. Mads Mikkelsen. A close personal friend of Hideo Kojima, Mads Mikkelsen.
Just a guy that keeps showing up in his video games. I swear to God, if Hideo Kojima made a movie, Mads Mikkelsen would be... Him and Norman Reedus, they would be in the movie. You know?
Oh, welcome to Emilio and the coldest takes in history. Mads Mikkelsen wouldn't be in the movie. It would be a movie about Mads Mikkelsen. He wouldn't have a character. He would just be Mads Mikkelsen, Hideo Kojima's friend.
I don't know. You know, like, I have to wonder, are they really friends, or does Hideo Kojima just really like being around?
I think Hideo Kojima thinks they're friends.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, like, are they... What I'm saying is it actually a two-way street, or does Hideo Kojima just love being around Hollywood celebrities, and, you know, they're just like, this weird Japanese guy wants me to be in his weird Japanese game about babies and the end of the world, and I'm gonna do it because it looks cool, but, you know.
God, I'm, like, timing. Rhythm, my most hated enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we go here, and then pink, and then it's blue, and then pink again, and then blue, and then pink, and then... Fuck. I died. I died it, Emilio.
Well, you live, you die, you live again, right? That's how it goes.
There we go. I got a cassette. What is that?
Collectible, maybe?
Oh, I wasn't meant to be here. God. Anyway.
Welcome to the Callum just makes noises part of the stream.
It's just like when games do that. It's like, yeah, I love collectibles, but I thought this was the critical path.
You fool! There's multiple parts in this game.
So hey, what collective? What's the guy in chat's name? The person.
Clutter Arranger.
Clutter Arranger. Without spoiling the story, if you wouldn't mind, do we ever get to learn why Celeste has like magical glue jump powers, or is that just something you accept as it goes on? Like it never really explains it.
They have said something, but I think they'll just need some time to answer your question. But they have said there are B-sides of each chapter, and you unlock them like that. So there are harder versions of each chapter.
Oh goody, my favorite reward, more work. Okay, so here is the strawberry room. I don't need to do that. Yeah?
So my question to you.
Me.
Yes, to you. Is, do you feel like it is a good thing or a bad thing that a game's reward for you playing it well is more of that game?
I don't know. I've heard a thing that's like, I personally love bonus levels and stuff like that. I especially love like hidden bosses and things like that. I think that that's always a good idea. I think it's always fun. But I also do want my upgrades to feel like power-ups. You know, if I go through a particularly hard level and my reward for that is an even harder level, that's not going to feel like a reward. so much. I think the best reward a game does is it's the whole upgrade thing, isn't it? Is like the best thing a game can reward me with is a different way to play it.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah? What's up?
Yeah, sorry, my signal dropped for a second. Yeah, I mean, I had this experience. I was playing a game called Sulaco, which is a retro boomer shooter type game. And, you know, the thing about this game is it's very difficult. I was playing it on like the 3rd hardest setting. Yeah. And if you do well in the game, you get stuff, you know, upgrades and things like that. But the ultimate reward for like doing all the exploration is an ultra hard level. And I'm like, I don't really want to do this level.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I get the idea is that the gameplay is supposed to be fun, that all I would want is more of it. But, I don't know. Like, even with Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2, which I've been playing a lot lately, I actually replayed all of Xenoverse 1 so I could get some cool stuff for my character. But, even with that, the DLC tends to be like extra side quests and stuff, and while that's fine, they also give you new items, like new costumes.
Sorry, Clutter Ranger says the dashing is never explained, I think.
Oh, okay. So we're just like a magical... It's like the reason why things are just floating in midair. Like, it's just something that's a part of the world.
You can just do that, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. I can live with that. But anyway, so even though most of the DLC for Xenoverse 2 is just sort of like side quests, well, not even side quests, but quests. It's not story content. It's just like new fights and things like that. Even though it's just that, they also add new attacks and new costumes and new playable characters and things, because they understand that it can't just be like more of the same. You have to have something else. And I personally like getting like new cosmetics. That's why Monster Hunter is so much of my money.
Well, you know, that's certainly very valid, I think. For my own sake, this is gonna sound very weird, but I don't want the game to reward me with more stuff. You know, when I play a game, I don't want the game to give me more things. You know,
more things in terms of what?
Like, I don't want more levels or, you know, like more content necessarily. I want a game's experience to be designed around specific things. And
I found a secret.
Well done.
By mistake. God, now I'm stuck. Did Celeste
you
just like kiss this rock? God.
Yes.
Okay,
Hello?
no, I died. Sorry, I got quiet there for a sec.
No, it's fine. I mean, platforming is very hard. I imagine that it takes a lot of your energy. I was just saying that, like, you know, if I want a game to reward me with stuff that is not going to feel like a drain on my energy. You know, like if I do well, give me a audio log to listen to, or a lore book to read, or something like that. You know, I don't necessarily want additional like levels. You know, I don't want to play a harder version of this level. Not really. You know.
I've already stated that I enjoy unlocking abilities that change the way the game is played. You know, that's my ideal sort of like upgrade, is something that makes the gameplay different. And it doesn't have to be vastly different, like turning it from a shooter into a I don't know, real-time strategy game or whatever. But it does need to like add something. Like one of my favorite things about The Witcher series, and the reason that I almost always choose magic as my build is because if you upgrade the signs enough, it changes what they do. Like the fire becomes like a stream of fire rather than just like a burst, and the wind becomes like a tornado and things like that. Like that stuff is so much more interesting. It's like when you upgrade your sword or whatever in a game, and it changes how the sword looks in the actual game. Like, it's small stuff like that that makes it seem that much better.
Like, like in RTS games, right? Like if I can buy unit upgrades and that doesn't change what the unit looks like, I kind of feel robbed.
Yeah.
In a sense, because I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're going from +1 to +2, but surely, you know, it would be a good idea to show me that, you know, that this unit is +2.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I need like a visual indicator, please.
It doesn't even have to be like a brand new model, right? It just needs to be, oh, this unit has a blue shield when they're level 1, and they have a gold shield because they're level 2.
Yeah, it can be really simple.
Shield.
My thing is that like that's actually kind of why I got disappointed with Black Desert Online, is because it frequently did that exact thing of like you just wear your outfit, you know. It doesn't reflect what armor you have equipped. You just wear the outfit that your character has, and I think
you have an outfit. Yeah.
You collect new outfits later, and like I can kind of see the idea with this, like I sort of, but the problem is that it doesn't. One of the reasons that games like World of Warcraft and stuff do that, where it shows you what armor you're wearing, is because it's a great way of like indicating your progress. You know, you get to watch your.
Furthermore,
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say that like furthermore, in games like Warcraft, you can transmogrify armor to look like other things. So I think you can like cast a spell that makes it so that a piece of armor looks like another piece of armor.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a feature in WoW.
You want to.
Hmm?
Yeah, you want to be able to like show off your guy, and if you couldn't do that, that would be extremely bad, I think, for immersion.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of think I know what to do. Nope. See, that's the other issue, is that... Oh, okay, this game might be better played with the number... Not the arrow keys than the joysticks. Emilio?
Oh? Why?
Hello?
Yes?
Did you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, you said something about it be played with the arrow keys instead of the joysticks.
Well, it seems to misread joystick inputs. Like, it doesn't quite understand that I'm trying to go diagonally with the joystick.
Well, when I think of platformers, I don't think of using a joystick, that's for sure.
Really? I always use joysticks with movement.
Well, I mean, I guess it, like, when I think of, like, a platformer, you know, I think of the arrow keys as being much more precise for fiddly movement. But when I played Hollow Knight, I would use the joysticks. But that's because Hollow Knight is not a pure platformer. It's also a Metroidvania action-adventure game.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we have 3 viewers. Welcome, everybody.
You know what's funny, Callum?
Yeah?
Yeah, welcome, everybody. You know what's funny? If I say adventure game, people might assume, oh, a game like, you know, Grim Fandango, or Day of the Tentacle, or, you know, something like that. But if I say action-adventure game, that's a completely different thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a completely, like, Uncharted, you know, Lara Croft, God of War, those types of games are action-adventure games. I'm like, what the heck?
I personally...
you know, just adding the word action in front of action-adventure.
Personally, I would consider something like this an adventure game. Because you don't take that much action. Like, anything where you can engage in direct combat with something is, I think, action-adventure. But anything where you're just exploring, that's adventure. Like, in my mind, but then again, for some reason, in my mind, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is an adventure game. It's not an action-adventure game. It's about the adventure.
That's interesting.
The action is there to facilitate the adventure. That's it.
It's one of those things where genre is very nebulous. You know, it's one of those things where you can kind of know it when you see it. Like you can see something that is a real-time strategy game, and you know, be able to tell what it is.
Yeah.
But then, if you try and draw lines, you will draw a line. You can never draw a line that perfectly excludes everything that isn't an action-adventure game, and perfectly includes everything that is an action-adventure game, if you know what I mean.
It's too amorphous of a category. It can apply to so many things. I do want to say first, before we get into whatever...
Oh, wait, Matthew Borta is here. Hey, Matthew, what's up? Yo, Celeste is like one of my top 10 favorite games. Let's go!
I'm having fun with it so far.
This game is a straight line. Like, there's zero adventuring.
that's fair. But, I mean, it's you're going on an adventure.
Yeah, but Callum...
Okay, wait. What about this? An adventure game gives you the adventure. In an action-adventure game, you have to find the adventure.
I don't know about that, because
well, we'll figure it out.
Uncharted is an action-adventure game, and it's completely linear, right?
Ooh, what about this? In an action-adventure game, the adventure is the narrative, but the action is the gameplay.
Okay, I think we're getting closer to something that is maybe workable.
We will find out a way to concretely define the most undefinable genre. Mark my words. Before we continue with whatever Dark Madeline was going to say to me, can I just say it's so weird that we've been streaming with the Switch for like, I don't know, a year now or something? No one has asked for Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, I like to think that our viewership is, much more interested in older, more indie games, than, maybe something that's newer.
Nope. People rarely wanted and love Pokemon Scarlet.
Okay, but that's Pokemon. I feel like that's a separate thing.
But it's Zelda.
Yeah.
Zelda is like beyond.
We should poll our audience and actually find out how many of the people who are in our audience are actually Zelda fans, because I'd be curious to know that number. Also, Matthew says, if you're not making choices about where to go and what to see, then there's no adventure being had. Whoa, okay, that might be considered a hot take, Matthew.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because, like, Monkey Island, are you making choices? Because the story is about, like, Guybrush Threepwood kind of being strung along by forces greater than himself, but it's an adventure game.
Yeah, but you have a choice in how you want to tackle the story, right?
Not really. All of the puzzles have one solution. You don't get to do things out of order. Oh shit. Her hair is hanging out of the dialogue box.
Then I guess, if we're going on that definition, then
oh god, she's chasing me. Oh no! Oh no! No, this is my nightmare. Well.
Matthew says, watching Tears of Kingdom it's only fun to play. Yeah, I could see that. There are some games where it's more fun to watch than play, but there are some games that are actually not fun to watch at all, and they're only fun to play.
What about
This is one of those things.
Link's Awakening?
Oh, 5 viewers! Welcome everybody.
Hey.
Clutter Arranger says, I'm sure I would be a Zelda fan if I played them, but I never did. Yeah, I can see that. It's one of those things where there's so many games now that it's actually much harder to just be aware of everything.
Oh wait, does she mimic
back in the day, not as much.
Okay, so she mimics me, so I want to waste a lot of movement. Fuck. God damn it. I'm too good, and so my shadow is so much better than me. The only thing that would make me more efficient as a player is if I was controlled by a robot.
You mean a tool-assisted speedrun?
What? Is that a thing?
A task, right? A tool, because that's how the top tier speedrunners figure out how to do strats. They use a computer to play the game.
Oh, I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, it's called a task, a tool-assisted speedrun.
Oh man.
So like, there are things that like computers can do that humans can't. Super precise, minute movements that could be really hard to do, on a person. but then you could get the Taz to do it like repeatedly. Because I think it was there was a guy who made a video about like Ocarina of Time recently about how how there was that dog race in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
So the blue dog, the blue dog, right? In that race.
Why not?
Yeah. So there are different colored dogs in the dog race, and the thing is, according to the game design code, the blue dog has the lowest chance of winning because he has the lowest speed stat.
Yeah.
So somebody used a tool to basically figure out if it was possible for the blue dog to win, and they basically ran computer simulations of Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, like multiple of them at the same time, where the computer would start Ocarina of Time, play it at the dog race thing, see the outcome of the race, and then like keep doing this like days upon days upon days, like thousands and thousands of simulations. So it turns out that the blue dog is capable of winning the race legitimately, but it requires some amazing RNG for that to happen. Also, it is possible for the blue dog to win the race illegitimately by benefiting from a programming glitch where the developers didn't realize that, or they didn't fix an error where it's possible for the dogs to win without actually crossing the finish line. But it's like a thing that you could do with a tool, right?
It's
the kind
it's
of
something
stuff that speedrunners do.
that you would truly never have the manpower to do on your own.
Well, yeah, I mean, not unless you had like millions of people playing the game all at the same time. I'm sure that like somewhere out there is a guy who was playing Ocarina of Time and the blue dog in his game won legitimately, and he just thought it was normal. Meanwhile, there's like a billion a billion to 1 chance or whatever. Oh, okay. So Clutter Arranger says on the tool-assisted world record of some Celeste. On the tool-assisted world record of Celeste, some of the screens can't even be seen because the camera can't follow the character. That's how precise the movement is.
Huh.
So it's one of those things where humans can only be so good at doing things.
Yeah.
Which is why you use the tool to help you figure out like if something can even be done.
Okay, wait, no, hang on, I can do this.
We're entering the gnashing teeth stage of the stream, everybody.
It's just a skill issue. It's a skill issue.
Yeah. Callum is
there
just, the 5 stages of grief.
No. Come on, this way, idiot. Follow me.
By the way, Callum, we are closing up on half 7.
Okay. That's fine. Let me just do this. I don't know that I can pause this section. Or
yeah, sure, that's fine.
So, yeah. Why don't you entertain the audience real quick with some interesting facts about you or I or both of us, or anything, really.
Yeah, sure. Did you guys know that horses are naturally buoyant because their lungs are so big that they're basically 2 giant inflatable air sacs inside the animal? So, horses... Clutter Arranger says you can still grab walls. I think you forgot about the grab button. No, Clutter Arranger, are you like a person who's played a lot of Celeste? Do you know how to do speedruns of Celeste? Horse facts. Yeah, horse facts. So horses are naturally buoyant. So we have 6 viewers. Wow.
Hey, it's because you started talking about horses.
So horses are naturally buoyant. So what that means is, if a horse is entering into a body of water, they will float. Now, does this mean that the horse will enjoy that experience? It depends. Some horses are much more comfortable around water than other horses.
Yeah. Oh god, there are
some horses
fucking
enjoy swimming.
3 of them.
But it's just interesting because like when you don't really think about horses as being able to float, but they have ginormous lungs. I'm not sure if you've ever seen the size of a horse's lungs, but it's like almost the entire length of their body.
Why would I have seen
massive.
that?
Well,
just on a general Saturday, looking at horse lungs.
Well, I've seen horse lungs.
Why?
I've seen
Why
people
have you seen
do
that?
like surgery on horses and stuff like that. They're like these ginormous things, you know, because it's like a horse can breathe in hundreds of liters of air.
Okay.
You know, when they're breathing in, they're just ginormous. So yeah, it's interesting. In the same way that like a car, the engine of a car is to a large extent it's like the most important thing in a car. The lungs of a horse are why they are so why they're capable of doing a lot of stuff. But it's interesting. Horses are.
I'm just gonna start saying random Japanese phrases I know from anime.
Not at a speedrun level. So Collector Rangers is not at a speedrun level, but I do play a lot of mods and custom maps. Okay, so you're like a real big-time Celeste player. That's interesting. So you can rate Callum's Celeste performance.
Celeste player over here. Come on. There we go.
Georg Celeste player. The average person plays. Oh, okay. So, they say I have even made a custom Celeste map myself last spring. So you're like really good at Celeste, I would say. That if you're making custom maps.
I hate these dumb ghosts. Yes.
We are officially past the deadline.
Okay.
Or not the deadline. But we're officially over. Overtime.
Let's save and quit.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It was a big stream. We had like 5-6 people watching for most of it. That's pretty crazy. Thanks everybody. Also, you should check out Callum's review of Prim. It's a really good video.
The first video review I've done in like, nearly 10 years.
I still think you've got it.
Well, thank you.
I think you still got your video review chops. So yeah, thanks just everybody for your support. Hopefully we're gonna.
If you guys are interested in watching Pokemon Scarlet, then we're doing a monologue run every Monday. I've already failed it 3 times, and we're onto ground type. So come and check it out. The thumbnail for that will hopefully be done by Monday, but if not, I'll try and have something to put up. Come and check it out. It's crazy. It's really fun. The game has been kicking my butt before I even get to the first city.
Enjoy Callum getting his behind handed to him. I think it's gonna be a fun time. We've got more videos planned. I've got videos planned coming out.
Yeah.
Potentially talking about more A Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe a bunch of other stuff.
I'm planning on doing like a whole batch of the Magic videos when I get a second, and I'm gonna maybe like upload them every month.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Subscribe. Tell your friends about us. All that jazz.
Watch out for alligators.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't swim in acid. Keep an eye out on Instagram and stuff, because apparently Mark Zuckerberg has said that they're going to be doing some stuff with Trump. So like maybe keep an eye out for that. Stay magical, stay safe, stay watching, stay kind, and so long, everybody.
Bye.